guys for joining the show. As always, always helping out. Much love, appreciation to you guys. So, we got some serious stuff we want to talk about. Guys don't know, Toni Harris, a female, 22 years old, kind of old, but she is now the first. Whoa, 22. She's just going into college.
She took a 4-year gap.
Let me finish. 4 years is a long time. But she's now the first female to have a Division I full football athletic scholarship to, I believe, Essential Madonnas, whatever the hell the name's called, CMU University.
History.
Yeah, CMU University. So that is, obviously, I was so happy when I heard that news because now she sets like the groundbreak and the pathway for potentially maybe other girls who want to play sports to get, obviously outside of basketball and all this stuff, who wants to play football, to be able to get a scholarship in that sport. So I was happy when I heard the news. I was ecstatic, and I believe she's going to be the pioneer for change. So I just want to get your guys' opinion on that. What do you think, with her getting a full D1 scholarship to play football, how does that set up for the rest? Like, do you think that's going to be some type of change happening?
I mean, I think from a female standpoint,
Sorry,
that really, yeah, your opinion doesn't matter.
What's new?
we got to have a female perspective, man.
I think from a female perspective, that really does set the pathway for other females, and now they can see that representation for themselves and feel like they can do it. And I mean, it makes sense that football has been traditionally a male sport because you really have to have a very large, body setup, and just women aren't built that way naturally. And so I think it's really cool that she's the first ever woman to get a full scholarship with football. I think that's so cool.
Well, she's like technically the second. She's the first one to get a D1.
Oh, okay.
Because I
D1.
believe there was another lady who got a D2 school. I believe it was like Stephen Adams University. She got a scholarship as a kicker, but she's like the first female to get a D1 Division I football scholarship. I was happy about it. Maybe you might be like, oh, Worlds is a feminist, this and that. People don't really know the true definition of a feminist. If you think that I am, look it up. It's in the dictionary. But again, it's pathway. Like I said, it's just pathway, history in the making. Billy, what do you think about that, man?
I mean, I think it's really cool. I think sports are like this idea of universal escapism, where like people can just go to a sports game and they'll be happy there because it's just something fun to do that everyone could enjoy. So to have football become this thing where like everyone could be a part of it and play it, I think Toni Harris is setting the ground for that, and to be able to do that is just a really important thing. And as a skill position player too, it's not an expectation we had. Like, we've seen kickers go and play before, and like it was something that like we thought was a possibility, but to see it happen first for a skill position player, I think that's really special, and I think that it's just showing how football can grow over time if we just let it.
But another question I want to ask you guys, like, so she, I believe, is a defensive back at CMU. She's going to play next year. So say if she gets hit hard, like she gets rocked in her head. Do you think that players would probably like not go after her aggressively as they do to other guys because they know like, oh my God, like she's a female, I'm not trying to like knock her out or like give her CTE or something? Because that, you know what I mean? You're not going to like, if I'm playing against you in basketball, I'm not going to like try to go OD hard because like I'm not trying to like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm just trying to like hurt you in the sense.
I am, but I feel like when other players see the roster, she doesn't go by her full name, which is Antoinette. She goes by Toni.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was very on purpose. That was very...
Now, do you think she changed her name, Toni with the I, to maybe like, to make it seem more masculine, to get that offer?
I think so, because it kind of parallels to this idea of like, I have Hispanic friends who have changed their names to sound more white so that they, when they put their name on a resume, they're not discriminated against, like they're still chosen fairly. Like I have a friend named Juan, and he spells it like John. And so I feel like it's a similar thing.
But they shouldn't have to do that though. That just kind of still goes back to like where we are in terms of, we talk about how much we have to improve on race and discrimination, but it's still the same way. Like you having people, like you said, who are changing their name so they can get a job. Like you shouldn't have to do that at all. That shouldn't be
It's how you
a
play
requirement.
the game.
But it shouldn't have to be like that.
I know, I agree, but I feel like there's a possibility she might have done that to help herself out.
Maybe.
I mean, I think to be able to get a scholarship, you have to show that you can compete in the first place. So, like, I don't know if people are going to be... The difference, you used an example earlier, like, you wouldn't play your fullest potential if you were playing basketball against her. But, like, you're not playing for a livelihood, and everyone else in college is.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't see, like, I understand the perspective that they'd hold back on her, but like at the same time, they're all playing for a job in the future, and they've already gotten that far, and I don't see why one game and one person would get in the way of that. I don't think it's right, but it's just a thing I think.
How cool would it be if she's the first woman to go to the NFL?
She wants to play football. They say she wants to play for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
She wants to play for. I mean, like I said, if she's good enough, she got 4 offers. I believe it was 4. She had 5 offers, I believe. So she had 5 offers, and she obviously went to CMU. So if you got 5 offers to play college football, you have to be really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's 22, so I believe she probably went to like a JUCO or something. Or I don't know how that whole thing works. Or maybe she like she said, maybe sat out a couple years, stayed back because she was like, listen, I'm trying to play college football, and now she's gonna play that. She's gonna live her dream. But another thing I want to talk about that, like all the stuff that she overcame. They said she had cancer, and she beat cancer back 2 years ago in 2017. And a lot of players that believe that like she wouldn't even play at the college level because you're a female, you're not this and that. But like she's proven all of them wrong.
The odds of this boy achieving his dream in fashion? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
So I want to talk to you about, athletes who have been having disabilities that play sports. Obviously, you played a sport in high school. You played hockey. You played baseball. I even think you played probably football too.
Nah, I was not allowed to
Flag
play.
football, you was
Flag
tough
football,
though,
yeah.
dogs. He's speedy, man. They called him Scooter for a reason, man. He was tough. I got you. Scott Ricci was tough in flag football. He was out and everything. But I just want to talk to you because obviously you have a disability and you progressed in sports. Obviously, you did really good in high school, and you were on the club baseball team here as well. So I just want to talk to you about, give your side of the story. How were you how did you have that disability? What happened? Floor is yours, bro.
So I was born with, it's called Barter syndrome. Believe it or not, just my hand isn't the only thing that was wrong when I was born. I'm deaf in my right ear. I have scoliosis. I was born with 1 kidney, and I have missing ribs. And the funny thing is that the doctors, which I was a healthy baby, but the doctors didn't see anything on the ultrasound. So they told my parents 10 fingers, 10 toes. That's what they tell everybody, right? 10 fingers, 10 toes. And I came out of my mom's womb and I didn't have 10 fingers and 10 toes. So, but I mean, it was a tough start coming up when I was a baby. I don't think I see myself as someone who has a disability. I just see myself as someone who's different. And I don't even see it that way because I know I could do things that people who don't have this disability that can do as well. I played, like Joel said, I played hockey and baseball in high school. I played baseball my whole life. I picked up hockey around 13 years old. But it's my favorite sport. And going through life, I just know you got to do something different to persevere in that sport. Yeah, you could still do it. You could play. I'm a second baseman on the club baseball team. I throw differently than the guys do. I have to transfer my glove off to my left hand and throw it with my left hand. It's not about what you can't do. It's about what you can do with the things that with everything that has happened to you. So I just wanted to say, be confident in who you are. That's really the #1 step that took me to be here. Definitely coming to Monmouth was tough because I had to tell my story again to everyone. I knew everybody from elementary school to high school. People knew me. They knew about me. Coming to college was definitely a little tough, especially freshman year starting off. Had to make my name again. So I just wanted to say, I don't see it as a disability. And if somebody says you can't do something, to say yes you can and prove them wrong. That's really what my goal in life is to do, and to help others who believe they can't do it, help them know that they can.
Word, bro.
So
I appreciate that. And that's the thing, I got to share a story because I think it was the first day, freshman year. Like I said, I ain't know nobody. I was just in a brand new school. I don't know anybody in this. I'm all right, I'm sitting at my table by myself. I got my food. I have my grapes and everything. And then Scotty was the first one to come up to me. He was like, yo, bro, you want to sit with us? I was like, yeah, sure. And then that's when we met Joe, Mike, A-Rod, with the original Elmwood.
Yeah,
Elmwood at the Trap House. So, yeah, man, I knew this boy since freshman year. We go way back. And then, I saw the arm in it, but, I didn't want to be, disrespectful, yo, what's wrong, what's happening? But then I know you told me about it. Joe told me about it. And one thing I really wanted to ask you is that, in high school, did anyone like physically make fun of you with that disability? Because like, it is messed up, but like you overcame a lot, my brother.
I would say I was bullied in high school, just because people knew about my mentality and the heart that I had.
Yeah.
I did have an instance my freshman year where it was after baseball practice, and a couple of the bigger kids. I was a late bloomer. I didn't start growing until 16, 17 years old. So when I was a freshman in high school, I was like 4'8", 4'9", and a couple of the bigger kids on the freshman baseball team were kind of like messing with me, seeing how tough my skin was. And that kind of like pissed me off a little bit, but that was probably the only instance where I ever was kind of bullied, so to say. But I think everybody just loved me, and I love everybody else, and I think everybody should be given the benefit of the doubt. So I don't really think I was bullied as a person and as a kid, and I don't think anybody else should be.
Now, do you think that was just part of like welcome to the team type moment, or
No, it wasn't even
was
like
it just because of
it wasn't
of
even
that?
like the varsity guys, like it wasn't the seniors, it wasn't like hazing, it was just like a couple of bigger kids on the freshman team.
Oh, okay.
Like the coaches were out of the locker room, it was just me and 4 of the kids waiting for our parents to pick us up, and they were just messing with me. But I just showed them like my skin's tougher than them, I have thick skin, I didn't care about that, so. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, a big thing that happened in a couple years ago, I think it might have been last year, was Shaquem Griffin got into the NFL. How's his story like impacted you? Because I know he's had a huge flight.
The funny thing is, I actually have his jersey. So I have his college jersey from UCF. His was a little bit different than me. His arm wasn't fully developed as a child. He had stubs on his hand, and he amputated them off because they were giving him so much pain. But I only have one bone going through my whole right arm. Everybody's supposed to have 2. Yeah. And that's where like I like to work out and everything like that. But at the time where my hand's sideways and I only have one arm, I don't have that much flexibility. So it's kind of hard to work out. But Shaquem Griffin definitely showing that he could rep 225 pounds off the bench press for 25 with an aesthetic arm. Like, that was awesome. That, like, it definitely showed not just me, but a lot of people that you could do whatever you set your mind to.
Yeah, you like seeing him in the NFL now? You support him with the Seahawks?
I mean, I'm a big Cowboys fan, so obviously, I do support him a lot. I love how whenever he's on the field, he's getting time too, which shows that you could do it without 2. That's like my slogan.
You get something out of it.
Yeah, exactly. My slogan is, who needs 2, you know? You don't need 2 arms to do something that people with 2 arms could do.
And for me, like, getting this from what you're saying, you feel like the disabilities kind of make you more confident, because you're just like, everybody that I know, they be like, yo, Scotty this, Scotty that, yo, Scotty's my boy, yo, Scotty's man chill. And like, you're not afraid to go and talk up to anybody. That's one thing I noticed about you. Like, you think that made you more confident with that? Because I know a lot of people who are shy, their communication they're not how to talk to anybody, but you go and talk to anybody, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I could definitely say about you. That's facts.
Yeah, I do like expressing myself out loud and showing people that I don't see myself as being different. I don't care. I see myself as normal. I don't hold back. So I like to go talk to people. I like to introduce myself and show like somebody that's different really isn't different. Get to know me, and you'll realize that I'm just a normal person.
Yeah, I got
so.
you.
We're all the same on the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
We all got the same organs. We got the same heart. Got the same bones. No matter, man. That's what's up, man.
Yeah. So
Man,
thank you for having me.
First of all, quick question. How you think about Jason Whitman coming back to the Cowboys? I know he a big Cowboys fan. You put a story on your Snapchat. You was like, we going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl bound, baby. Super Bowl run starts today. No, seriously.
When he comes back.
When he comes back.
He got to get in shape again.
But he already signed a deal, so he had to pass a physical already, which is scary because he passed the physical and he was in the booth for a year.
Wow.
So I think he's going to help Dak out in the red zone a lot, especially with Blake Jarwin had, 6 receptions in the last 3 weeks. But when Dak was a rookie, you saw how many times he dumped off to Jason Whitman, and he was a security blanket. And to show that he could do it again for a 16th year, and now that he feels good enough to do it for a 16th year, it's going to be different because, one, he was one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, too. That helps Zeke out as well, and it helps give Dak another target downfield.
Man, so. Sky, man, appreciate you coming on the show,
you so
brother,
much.
as always.
Thank
Anytime,
you.
Bro.
Thank you.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
For those dealing with the struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for advice and support.
Bethany Ann Doak. Ian Donnelly. Kirsty Lynn Duthit.
Famine, war, and drought are devastating the Horn of Africa on an unprecedented scale, yet this crisis remains under the radar. So the relief effort had to do two things: generate awareness and donations quickly, and get people talking about it. FWD became a way to illustrate the crisis and spread the facts. We started with an identity that did three things. It identified the problems: famine, war, drought, showed where it's happening, the Horn of Africa, and most importantly, gave people an immediate way to help by forwarding the facts designed to be simple and shareable. To support the campaign, we created TV, radio, online advertising, and a site where visitors can track the progress of shares. We also asked people with the largest social networks, celebrities, politicians, and even internet stars, to forward the facts to all their millions of followers.
Forward the facts to everyone you know.
Those followers then shared the facts with their followers. Corporations joined the effort, garnering even more awareness and donations through their customers. The spread of relief peaked on November 9, 2011, with the launch of Forward Day, when everyone involved made a collective push to forward the facts.
Forward me to everyone you know.
The goal of the single-day event was 13 million shares, one for every person affected by the crisis. On that day, over 117 million shares were generated across Facebook, Twitter, and blog posts. As the campaign continues to gain momentum, so does awareness. Together, we're bringing relief to the Horn of Africa, one forward at a time.
So Jason Whitman is going back into football, signed with the Cowboys, okay? His 1 year in ESPN NFL analyst career sucked. All right, he was terrible as an analyst. But nonetheless, he's back on the football field with the Cowboys. And I know you put on your story that they are now instant Super Bowl contender. What do you think about that?
It's good for the team in the long run for next season. He's going to give that team exactly what they needed, which was a tight end, another tight end. Blake Jarwin was decent. He wasn't that guy, though.
I thought you were going to say they need leadership.
No, they do need another leadership guy in that locker room. Like they said in 2016 for Dax and Zeke's rookie year when they went 13-3, he was that guy who led them there. He was the guy who coached them on the field. He coached them in the locker room and said, look, if you want to get to this championship, you got to do A, B, and C. He kind of held their hand through the way and kind of pushed them to be their very best. On the field, though, he is a security blanket for Dak Prescott. You know how he doesn't really like to throw deep, but
He's scared to throw deep.
Hey, man, they got Cooper now. He's going to be deadly. But, yeah, overall, Jason Witten back on the field, it's going to help the Cowboys a lot next season. And not just because he can catch the ball and run, but he was probably one of the best blocking tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
And now with Zeke in his fourth year as well, he's going to start picking up some more reins, and he's going to be picking up some more carries because they really don't have anybody in the backfield behind him now because they're not going to sign Rod Smith anymore. So it's interesting to see how well he does after being 1 year out and coming back. So.
Yeah, like you said, the one thing the Cowboys I feel like have been missing the most is that veteran leadership. And now that Jason Witten's back, that's what he's bringing to the table. He's going to coach that team on the field and lead them to a great record, I feel like, this coming season. Maybe not 13-3, but I feel like they're going to be a lot better in the long run with Witten back for this final season. Probably is going to be his final season. I wouldn't doubt if he retires again after this year. But Ezekiel Elliott, I'm pretty sure he's going to have another great year running the football like he did his rookie year with Witten blocking him. Dak on the dink and dunk for a 5-yard pass, and Witten could probably turn it into a 10-yard gain. So it's something that the Cowboys have been missing, and I'm pretty sure everyone is ecstatic to have him back.
I mean, I think I think Jason Witten's great. He's just old as dirt. Like, I think he could be a leader without a doubt, but I think it almost kind of relegates Dak Prescott because at the end of last season, we saw him start to do a bunch of crazy stuff. Like, he was making some nice throws downfield. He was taking chances and risks. And if Jason Witten comes back in there, does he just become that dink and dunk passer again? Does he not take those risks? And does it change the way he's playing? And does it make them rely on Zeke more heavily and just Jason Witten? I don't know if it's making them go back in time because it's making them reminisce almost. And I don't know if that's good for the team to move forward. Instead, they should have a young guy be a leader. Like, Dak Prescott should be stepping up and being a leader. They don't need to take someone out of retirement to do that. So I think it could be helpful, but at the same time, they're playing with fire.
Because here's my thing about that. Like, we talk about Dak Prescott's growth with Witten coming back. Like, this is going to be Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott's 4th year together. So this is where you got to, like, really take that next step into being an elite player on the field. But my thing is, Dak Prescott, he can't throw the football. I mean, listen, I'll take Dak over Eli any day of the week because Eli's trash.
Yeah.
I don't know why the hell he decided, hey, I'm going to come back to the Giants. Well, yeah, just say, hey, New York, I'm coming back to ruin your season. But or let's be real. I don't know why he came back. We need a new quarterback, but that's besides the point. Okay, he can't throw the football. He needs to go to a football throwing coach who could teach him how to throw past 5 yards. Okay, and like I said, he's got Cooper in the front fields. Cooper could just go to a fly route, curl route, and that could be his #1 target. Cooper is arguably one of the top 10 receivers in the league, and I'll say, like, who else is better than him? When Cooper gets going, bro, he's tough. Cooper is tough. I'm just saying, like, they're not much better receivers better than him. Besides, you could say A.B., Odell, Julio, maybe A.J. Green. That's it.
At the
top
top
10.
At the top of his
top
game.
10,
he just
bro.
hasn't been there, though.
He has, but like, he wasn't getting his chances in Oakland.
But let me stop you there. The reason why this season we saw a lot of dink and ducks from Dak, was their offensive line was not healthy at all this season.
Yeah.
Travis Frederick, the best center in football, was out this season because he was dealing with I forgot what cancer was, but he wasn't allowed to play at all this season. They had a third stringer as their offensive inside tackle, and then they had Tyron Smith, who's terrible. I don't know how he made the Pro Bowl. He holds every single play. As a Cowboy fan, I just want to jump through the TV and just strangle him. But no, the reason why you saw so much of that 5 yards and below passing is because, one, they have that trust in Zeke, where you could take a 2-yard play and spread it for 10, 15 yards. But this year, he was not getting any time in the pocket. You saw towards the end of the year, now that Cooper is probably one of the best route-running wide receivers in the NFL, that 2-second hold is getting him 20 yards deep. Like you were saying, he's starting to take chances. But when there's no good offensive line in front of you, no matter what team you are, it shows as the quarterback. You could be Tom Brady. If you don't have an offensive line, Tom Brady's not going to be great.
Yeah. Trash. Speaking of quarterbacks, NFL Combine, Draft Combine is here. Kyler Murray's numbers just came out. So they say he's listed at, 5'10" and 1/8.
Yeah.
He's like, 235,
No,
240?
he's like 195.
No, he's in the 200s.
Is he now?
He's in the
Yeah.
200s.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he believes 225, I believe.
He's
so.
insanely close to being like an identical match for Russell Wilson's dynamic.
Yeah, because Russell's
That's what I
like
see him
230, 225-ish.
Okay.
And his hand size is 9 something?
9.5, it say, yeah.
So I don't know why that came up, because I was just like, we knew that he was short. I know, he's taller than what I expected to be. I thought he was 5'8", 5'7". I honestly thought I was taller than Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, his numbers came out. I mean, find any surprise about that? Like, what do you guys think about that?
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead, bro.
I honestly don't see anything surprising in that because I think in the last few seasons you're starting to see more of that two-tone quarterback where they don't need to have that big arm to be successful in the league. And you've seen guys like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield. They all have had success when they're not. Their height isn't their greatest sight. So if you can't see over the line and you don't have that time to throw the ball, Kyler Murray is a great running quarterback as well. He's going to be able to be a dual threat quarterback in this league, and his size doesn't really matter. Like I said in the last segment, it's about your heart and what you could do with people when they don't believe in you.
You got it.
I really don't think it matters either. I think the Drew Brees example is a really great one because people just slept on Drew Brees his entire career, and it was only now when he started to get touted as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So I think it's really important to recognize that, like, the QB mold that we fit people into, like the 6 foot, 220 guy, the giant arm, isn't something that's necessarily important anymore because they're going to have guys like Lamar Jackson coming in who can just run all over you. And they might not be the perfect, like, downfield quarterback, but they're going to get the job done. So I don't think his dynamics matter all that much there. The only thing was that, like, he was listed in completely different ways by himself and Oklahoma, so that's the only thing that's weird about it. But otherwise, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, stepping a little away from football, if you guys knew, Kyler Murray actually got drafted in the first round, top 10 pick by the Oakland Athletics in the MLB draft. And he's now fully committed to football. This is what he wants to do. The press.
Get back that $10 million bonus he signed.
Yeah. The press asked him if this is what he really wants to do. Do you want to play football for your entire life? And he said, absolutely. Looking at it now, there's no going back. I am a football quarterback. I want to play in the NFL. And I respect the heck out of that. I think he will honestly make a good quarterback. Like you said, he reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson. He could be that dual threat, not as good as like Cam Newton, who's 6'5", 250, running over people as a quarterback, but he has that same type of potential where he could be an awesome dual quarterback.
Yeah, all right, man. That's it for Ball in the Zone. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for watching on your screen. We'll be back. Another episode coming soon. Stay tuned.
Brooklyn Nets all day.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Hi, I'm Laura Kepler, Miss America 2012. I had a lot of mentors throughout my life. Thinking back to high school, I specifically had 2 dance teachers who were involved in theater and music. What was really most important was knowing that she was there for me no matter what circumstance I was going through, and that no matter what we were doing or where we were, she was always an ear to listen to whatever I had to talk about, and I knew that she would be there for me no matter what. Knowing that the past does not have to limit your possibilities and does not have to limit who you are or what you will become is one of the main messages that my mentor instilled in me, and is something that I carry through my journey as Miss America and try and instill in other children as well. So it's definitely shaped who I am today and how I choose to give back as Miss America. If you think about the children of our country being the future of our country, and that one mentee could mentor the next president of the United States, or the next Miss America, or the next doctor to cure cancer, or the next teacher, those are the reasons why we need mentors. I've experienced the impact of mentoring firsthand. Together, let's start something for kids in your community at Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.